10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. How's everyone doing today? We are half-staffed at the moment, like a lot of restaurants that are opening right now, mainly because Carla Marie is getting ready for her Vistaprint podcast that she's going to do in a little bit. So she'll be with us in a couple of minutes. She's just posting a couple things last minute. But I've got a question because I opened up my app, the Twitch app, so I can see like how everything's going. And it said there's 18 people in here. But I feel like there's way more people in the chat than 18. Is my app just like being stupid? Oh, 199. Okay, that's way more than 18. Okay, cool. So if you saw the notification that went out, I set up a little challenge that Carla Marie doesn't even know about. And I said, if we get 500 people in this stream today, I'll do a food challenge. So if you feel like sharing this, telling some people to join, we'll figure out what the food challenge is, and then I'll do it on Thursday's show. So we'll see what happens. We got people checking in from Miami, from Seattle, Olympia, Queens. What else am I seeing in here? New Jersey, Siesta Key. That sounds like a lot of fun. I could go there right now. Also, I see a lot of people complaining about the heat. Obviously, the weather should be breaking in Seattle. I feel like today is supposed to be under 100 degrees, right? From what I've heard. I feel like we lucked out, and we're in the one place in the country where it's not painfully hot, because Denver has been like 70 degrees, kind of rainy the whole time we've been here. Connecticut's in the house, Clearwater, Florida. Rich Felt's in Delaware, 86 there. Geez, 117 in Moses Lake. That's like, don't even step outside, don't think about it weather. Jeez. Well, if Denver was in the hundreds 2 weeks ago, we got to miss that. So we are going to talk about The Bachelor when Carla Marie gets in here. And for those of you who don't watch The Bachelor, this is still going to be a discussion that you can be a part of, because something happened on The Bachelor yesterday that actually didn't sit well with me. And it's the first time I think that I didn't agree with the way our friend Katie acted. Now, listen, she's allowed to act however she wants. My opinion actually doesn't mean anything. So I'll throw that out there. And I saw Claire put the poll up asking if you actually did watch The Bachelor, so definitely hit that. It was a weird show, because I found myself defending someone I really don't like. And it's, if you've ever had to do that, if your like morals have gotten in the way of hating someone, I had to defend someone that I really, really didn't like while I was watching The Bachelor. And I'll explain that when Carla Marie gets here, because she might feel, I think she does feel a little differently than I did. Josh from Indy, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate that very much. And yesterday we actually got to do something really cool. We went to the Colorado Rockies game, and I wasn't even aware, because I've kind of been out of the baseball watching mode that I'm usually in because the NBA playoffs are on. I forgot that the All-Star game for Major League Baseball was happening next week, and it's actually happening here in Colorado. So they had a bunch of like the All-Star game merch, which was pretty cool. But that ballpark is beautiful. I'd never been there before. I've been to now, I think, 15, so like almost half of the Major League ballparks at some point. But it was a lot of fun. We got to see Mark from Denver, who actually I want to show everyone. He brought us a gift, which was really kind of him. He did not have to do that. And he got us these shirts. Let me make sure I put my headphones in so I can hear myself with these new microphones. So he got us these shirts from a company called Be a Good Person. Very much like You Look Great. But we got to actually go to the store afterwards. And it was such a cool store, and definitely a brand you should check out if you have some time and have some extra dollars that you want to spend. Be a Good Person. If you just search Be a Good Person Denver, I'm sure the company will show up. But they had a bunch of really, really cool stuff. So thank you to Mark for hooking us up and introducing us to that company. Hype Train Level 3. Carla Marie, the Hype Train's getting ready for you. Oh, she's coming. Let's see if we can get the Hype Train before. Oh, no, she's coming in like right now, so I don't think we'll be able to do that. Let's see. Still can't wait to get my You Look Great hoodie and tequila shirt. Yeah, I'm excited because people are actually now getting, welcome, Carla Marie. People are getting their notifications that their You Look Great merch is shipping out.
I know.
And it's going to be exciting actually seeing You Look Great merch in the wild. Did you expect to sit down at level 3 of the hype train, Carla Marie? Thank you.
Is this on? I don't hear me.
Oh, you're on.
Okay.
You're good. Can everyone hear Carla Marie? Oh, who's got a shadow on? Do I have a shadow still?
It's
or
me.
Carla Marie does?
Me. Because that's literally right there.
Yeah, but that's the one that's facing me. That one's facing you. We'll figure it out. It's fine. What else do we have here? 3 separate orders of You Look Great merch for Diana in Vermont. So when we said we had 1,200 orders, we now have to say we had 1,197.
We had 1,239.
1,239. So we actually have 1,236.
Yes.
Now, I know a lot of people ordered a handful of times in case they went back and got something. So thank you very much to everyone who did that. And Hype Trend Level 3 just complete.
Before we get into the Bachelorette stuff, we have a special birthday. Mila, who listens to our show, turned 4 yesterday. And at her birthday party this weekend, she requested the happy birthday song be played. Like the one that which we don't even have with us here.
We don't have our own equipment today.
We'll get it for her on Thursday, but we're going to get a video apparently of what happened at her birthday party with the happy birthday song.
Happy birthday, Mila.
That's cool.
5?
4? 4. That's what I thought.
Let's see. Tacoma Swifty did 2 orders.
Damn, so.
Vicky Vitz ordered twice. So maybe we just got like 700 orders and everyone ordered twice. I know that math doesn't work out. Leave me alone. Thank you to Eric in Cleveland for was that 500 bits that I just saw come through? I'm trying to use this stupid mouse and it's not working. Well, I think it was 500 bits. So there it is. 400. Thank you very much.
All right.
What, Carla Marie?
Bachelorette.
And to everyone who's keeping the hype train going, thank you very much. Hopefully we get through the 5th level, the 5th layer of the hype train. So the question that was posed on The Bachelorette last week was whether or not Thomas was there for, quote unquote, the right reasons.
Right.
Which is something you hear all the time in the first 5 episodes of every season of the Bachelor franchise.
I just want people here for the right reasons.
I just want people, oh my God, I'm here for love. I can't believe this person's not here for love.
So anyways, last week, there was a lot of stuff that came out of Thomas actually admitted, when I first was coming on this show, I thought in my mind, I could be the next Bachelor, if things don't work out. And his reasoning for saying that was, but I actually have feelings for you. And, I didn't necessarily think this could happen or whatever it was. And Katie had actually liked Thomas. She says that, I really liked you. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of off-putting. So then the other guys start asking him more about that. And it blows up into a big thing of him admitting, I thought I could be the Bachelor. And Anthony and I talk about it a lot. You're going on a TV show. It obviously goes through your mind because we're all humans of, well, what could I be famous from this, or what could happen from this, or could bad things happen to me because of this?
I think most people and all the people that we've talked to who have been on the show usually go into it with the idea that I'm open to a new experience. If I happen to fall in love, fantastic. If not, it'll be an interesting experience. Who knows what can happen? Maybe I'll get social followers. Maybe I won't. So the whole idea that every other guy there is there for true love and madly fell in love with Katie when they saw her on 10 different episodes, or not even 10, 4 episodes, 5 episodes of last season's Bachelor is stupid.
Yeah.
It's straight up dumb. So for all of the guys who are like, oh my God, I can't believe Thomas isn't here for the right reasons.
Yeah, they're
idiots.
In a panic. So that becomes the entire episode, kind of finding out that from what they make it sound is there was more to it than what we saw, essentially between the guys. Because they start feeling like they need to tell Katie, but the thing is, he admitted it to Katie. That's what I didn't understand. He admitted to Katie on a date with the other men. That's the only reason anyone knew it. He said it himself to her. So they were like, we need to tell Katie. So I think the information they got more out of him was very much so is that he just came in thinking he would be the next Bachelor.
And I think a lot of the guys on the show were mad because in this stage of The Bachelor, we're at week 4 yesterday, right? Was that week 4?
Yeah.
So in week 4, there's still a lot of guys around, and a lot of them don't get a lot of time with Katie. So when you have a guy who is commanding so much time and pulling Katie aside to have different discussions with her and go over things that he said already, it gets a lot of the guys frustrated.
Hang on one second. Lexi said, there were a lot of other things Thomas said that I was much more upset about than that line. Let us know, because maybe I missed it.
Yeah. And Thomas, I'm not defending Thomas's character. He seems sleazy. And I think he is manipulative. Wow.
Manipulative.
Whatever. Mainly because after he says the whole thing in the little vulnerability circle last episode
which was shady.
I originally came here because I wanted to create a bigger platform for myself, but now I like Katie. He says that, realizes that he's put himself in a bad situation, and then goes to Katie and is like, I think I'm falling in love.
That did happen.
That was the part that I think turned a lot of people off. So I want to be clear.
That was last week.
That was last week.
Yes.
I am not defending Thomas's character or what he's said. The thing that upset me, and I'm going to fast forward to the end of the episode because there was a lot of drama. There was the roller coaster.
Oh,
What?
okay. Yeah, there's a lot of shit that we're missing.
Okay, say it.
Like during that vulnerability date, Katie was like, but what are your red flags? And he was just like not answering.
Yeah.
He just kept saying I was here on The Bachelor. Yeah, I don't feel bad anymore. I'm glad she did what she did.
But let me explain.
Okay.
And I'm glad that we don't see eye to eye on this. Also, we have 2 minutes left in Hype Train Level 5. So thank you to everyone who's gotten us this far. So the thing that bothered me was you asked this guy to say something he is not proud of. Actually, let me go back, or let me actually take you through the timeline first. So the guys are all angry at Thomas, and last episode there's a scene where the guys are all talking about Thomas kind of behind his back. He walks into the room, and the one who looks like a caveman, what's his name? Hunter. Great name for a caveman. Hunter looks at Thomas and says, be honest, has the thought of being the Bachelor ever crossed your mind? That's a very tricky question when you think about it. No, but it's a very tricky question because has the thought ever crossed your mind is a very different question than did you only come on this show to be the Bachelor?
Right.
And I know it's a very small difference in wording, but I think that the meaning behind the answer is very different.
Yeah. But no, but you can't, but Thomas clearly went on the show to be the Bachelor.
And he said as much when he was asked to be vulnerable and honest. And I do think, like, who said it? W Lizard 83 said, I think it's crossed every guy's mind who's been on the show. Oh, if this doesn't work out, maybe I'll be the Bachelor. 40 seconds
I think
left.
I even
level 5.
said to Katie before she left for Matt's season, oh my God, imagine you don't fall in love with him and you become the Bachelorette. Like, and that was me, not Katie, before freaking Perez Hilton is like slandering her everywhere. I was the one that said that, and it actually happened. But everyone's friend probably says that to them.
So now we're going to keep going down the timeline. I want to make sure that everyone who didn't watch understands what's happening. And right before the rose ceremony, which is where Katie gives out the roses, keeps some guys, sends some home. This guy, Thomas, who is a massive man, by the way, compared to Katie, when he walks to her room, it's like
frightening.
The height difference is crazy. He takes up a lot of her time. And it seems like he takes up enough time where the rose ceremony doesn't even start until midnight.
So the cocktail hour is normally before the rose ceremony, which they did a bit. I mean, we don't know how much they did. But yeah, it seems like he was with her for, I don't know what, like 2 hours maybe? Who knows?
And again, a lot of the guys who are waiting around to have their cocktail hour time with Katie get even more upset now because Thomas walks in and he's like, hey guys, I went and talked to Katie directly and I did it because I didn't want to take up any of your time. And all the guys were like, you're an asshole because you clearly you did the thing you just said you didn't want to do.
I forget who said it, but I love that they kept it in there. He goes, one of the guys goes, it's midnight.
Yeah.
Like, and they, on the Bachelor or Bachelorette, like, we have no concept of time ever.
It's like a casino in Vegas.
And it gets better. I have inside information on timing.
Okay.
Not really inside, but you just don't know it. So I can't wait to tell you. But, so midnight, and they all start arguing again, and then Aaron yells, don't yell at me, bro.
He's such a little punk ass.
And then Thomas goes and lays in the relaxation room, and Katie talks to everyone else, but every other guy wants to bring up Thomas.
Yeah.
And at that point, they keep hitting home. He's bad, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad. Like, when you have every other person in the house telling you, like, what are their motives at that point? Just getting one guy to go home? People are going to go home anyway.
And they've done it once already.
But I can't imagine that those guys are like, let's get him out because we think he's a top contender.
No, but I think there's been a Survivor like feel to this season where like there's a core group of guys who are like, well, we don't trust Carl. He's creating problems for everyone. Let's make a statement and get him out.
Okay,
we don't trust Thomas. Let's make a statement and get him out. So there's a little Survivor vibe. But
rose ceremony happens.
Yes.
And Katie calls Thomas with the last rose. And everyone, the reactions.
Which at this point means he's going to stay.
And then he walks up to her and she takes a big step back. And that's when actually the guys' reactions, there's all these memes of all of them. Like Connor B, the cat, is like losing his mind laughing. And she says to him, like, you told me the things I wanted to hear. You lied to me. You're manipulative. Your Bachelor audition ends tonight, and sends him home. Yeah. Normally, you do not get sent home like that. You just don't get a rose. She, like, legit broke up with him.
Made it a point, yeah.
And the internet is losing their goddamn mind, and I am here for it because he was snaky. Anthony feels bad for Thomas.
No, I don't feel bad. I want to clear this up. I'm glad Thomas is gone.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that didn't sit well with me. There were 2 points that I really didn't like.
Yeah.
And one of them, the simplest one, is think back to when Katie was on The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. And Matt, when he sends her home, he picks up the rose.
Pause. Katie did nothing wrong.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not saying she did. So they're on a one-on-one date, and generally speaking, if you don't get the rose on the one-on-one date, you go home. You are sent home. He picks up the rose, and he's starting to say some really sweet things to Katie. Then he puts it down and sends her home. So there's that like,
yeah,
oh my God, I made it to the next round, and then the letdown of not doing that. So Katie has a sample of how that feels herself.
Right. Something tells me that some of that wasn't Katie's idea.
Probably. The other thing I didn't like was this all started because Thomas was asked to be vulnerable. Now, whether or not he was really vulnerable or used it because he was trying to like set up this narrative for himself, I'm going to put that aside for now. Mm-hmm. This all started in a vulnerability circle where it was supposed to be a trust circle. We were all supposed to be honest with each other, tell each other things we weren't proud of. So to start there and end with like kind of the public humiliation or flogging of this guy, it just didn't sit well with me for that specific reason. I do think he needed to go home.
Yeah.
I think the way in which he was sent home, when you think back to the way that this whole narrative started,
I'll give you that.
That didn't sit well with me.
I'll give you that,
but
be
honest with me, and now I'm gonna run you into the ground.
I'll give you that, but it was like she was like, be vulnerable with me, and he's like, I like ice cream. Like, his answer actually wasn't a vulnerable answer just because he answered that bullshit answer in the question of how have you been vulnerable. Like, that was the big problem.
Okay.
His answer had nothing to do with the question.
And I want to keep. I feel like I need to keep reinstating this or reinforcing this. I don't like Thomas. It's so weird that I am now defending a guy who he was one of my least favorite people throughout the whole show.
From day one, remember when we pulled this picture up on the screen, you were like, this guy looks like a shitty real estate agent.
And apparently he is a real estate agent. So I agree with you there, but I agree that his vulnerability circle was kind of like the weirdest.
That's what everyone is saying right now. Jordan says, but it was after the circle that he kept backtracking in his response and he never answered. Lisa said the whole point of the matter is that he wasn't actually vulnerable. So just because he answered it in that moment.
But here's something to think about.
I don't stand with your response anymore.
I do agree that there are guys on the show who in that vulnerability circle gave us a little more of themselves. Mm-hmm. But he's also the only one who had to deal with what he said for multiple days in a row. So maybe in a way that was the most shocking, vulnerable thing he could say because it was brought up over and over and over again.
No.
I don't know.
Stop it. You are officially defending Thomas.
All I'm saying, and there was someone who said it in here, and you had mentioned it before. I don't know if that whole thing was Katie's idea. But
I think she was definitely pissed off. Also,
yes.
She was probably very freaking tired and just wanted this.
Well, it's probably like 2:00 in the morning.
No. So the end of the rose ceremony, she goes to Blake's room, which, by the way, Blake from Tayshia and Claire's season shows up, and he wants to be with Katie, and
Another thing I'm not a fan of.
She decides to let him stay. She is like 100% giddy over him, and you even said it. You could see it. So she knocks on his door and wakes him up, and is like, "Okay, you can stay." And someone on Twitter was like, "What was Blake napping or whatever?" And he responds, "It was 5 a.m."
Oh wow!
So the rose ceremony was 5 hours long.
Well, with the cocktail hour and all of that.
Yeah.
Because there were still...
From when Thomas came downstairs.
Yeah. So
5 hours.
I don't think that it was fully Katie's plan to do that whole thing, to fake him out with the rose, then step back and then give him his verbal lashings and send him on his way. But whether or not it was her choice, she still did it. Therefore, she's responsible for that action.
Of course.
Because she's been someone who... Knowing Katie, and we I don't know if we've mentioned that today, but we actually know her on a personal level. She's a friend of ours, is someone who will stand up for herself and not do things that she's not comfortable with. So even if it wasn't her idea.
Unless they said to her, there's so many worse things he's been doing behind your back. Like, we know in the past that producers have lied to people who are on the show to be like, this person, you won't believe the things that they actually said about you. So all she needed, and again, I haven't even talked to her. I actually just said, "How are you feeling after the episode?" which I normally do. And she said, "Or what did you think?" She asked me. And I was like, "Oh, I finished watching already," because we were in the different time zone. Yeah. And I was like, "You are giddy over Blake." And Anthony feels bad for Thomas.
Okay, no. Again,
I said it differently.
I don't like Thomas. I don't feel bad that he has been sent home. Yeah. I just think it was a little over the top and unnecessary. You could have just said, "I don't trust you. You're here for the wrong reasons." Or just not give him the rose and send his ass home.
Part of me agreed with you to an extent, like last night when we were watching it. But like now thinking back and talking to everyone about all the stuff Thomas did and said, and like, I'm over him. So anyway, I agreed that she did that.
You agreed that, well, she did.
I agree why she did that.
Okay.
CMG said, "Did I imagine that Blake said you look great to Katie?"
He did. He absolutely did.
He said, "You look great." Every time we're like, "Oh."
Yeah. It's also said a lot.
Especially on that show.
Because normally, if you ever watch like the first episode of Bachelor or Bachelorette, I'd say 80% of the people say you look great.
When they get out of the limo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Martha said nobody's brain functions correctly after midnight. I agree. And another thing, I said that while we watch Katie's season, obviously I'm here to support Katie. I love Katie. She's incredible. But I will point out things that don't sit right with me. And in Katie's season of The Bachelor producers brought in a bunch of extra girls halfway through the season. And everyone...
But Katie wasn't there for that.
Yes, she was.
No, she wasn't.
I'm
sorry. She wasn't there for Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So she was there. She knows the feeling of being in the mix of that. Hold on. Being in the mix of that for a while.
But she didn't have an issue with it.
She wasn't happy.
But she wasn't one of the
mean girls.
Right.
She wasn't one of the mean girls, but she still was not happy with that. And to bring this guy Blake in, which she had mentioned they
had DM'd in the when she got sent home from Matt's season, he had DM'd her and said something like, I appreciate what you did on the season, blah,
which
blah,
is
blah.
Such bullshit, by the way. That is what every guy does when they see a girl get broken up with. "You're so strong. Hey, what's up? Just want to make sure you're okay." Shut the fuck up.
Hey, easy.
No, I don't like it because he slid in her most vulnerable state and trying to get laid.
If someone for example, if you were on The Bachelor and I showed up in the middle of the season and was like, "I think I actually have feelings for you."
Yeah.
Like, we've been friends for a long time. Clearly a different situation, but I think I actually have feelings for you and I kind of want to be a part of this process. You wouldn't send me home because at the end of the season, you're supposed to you would want to try all of your options.
Yeah, but I'd also be like, "Carla Marie, I've known you for a long time. I'm going to know you after this process is over, but I've got like 27 really hot girls here. You're going to go home and we can address this later," is what I would have said.
No, because At the end, you're supposed to be engaged to someone. And that's, I think, in that moment, if 18 other guys showed up and they were like, Katie, all these guys, like, we vetted them and they might be amazing for you. In my mind, I'd be like, well, I want to test them all out because what if one of them is the guy I'm supposed to be with?
Which, for the record, I want to go back to Blake messaging Katie after she got sent home from that season. Men are vultures, okay? Let me explain something. And I think all the guys in here will agree.
Okay.
Generally speaking, men are vultures. And when there's an attractive girl in a relationship, we know there are guys. When you're in a relationship, you know that there are guys around your girlfriend who are just circling. They're waiting for that moment to swoop down and start picking the corpse like a vulture. Mm-hmm. And the corpse in this metaphor is just a girl who's broken up with. A little grim, but still, men are vultures. And I think, what's this guy? Blake was a vulture, but because of the timing of when he reached out, Katie's like, oh, he's so sweet, and he said so many nice things to me when I got sent home from that season. Now, they may have talked more than that.
Right.
But Blake was a vulture. I'm going to say it 100 times until he proves me otherwise. What if Katie ends up with
Blake and you have to tell him that?
Then it worked, but he started off as a vulture. What you start as and what you end as are very different things. There's room for growth. There's a journey. There's all of that. But he started as a vulture. And I want that to be made clear. He is a vulture.
Grace said, but honestly, some women do that too.
Oh, yeah. But I think men do it worse. And men are more like dumb and egregious about it. Like literally the second a girl, whether it's on Facebook, removing a Facebook relationship status, or deletes a bunch of pictures of her ex or her former boyfriend or whatever, guys swoop in. Oh my God, how you doing? You look so great and on that vacation. You look like you're having so much fun. What?
Fred said, when a girl's heart is broken, the sharks smell the blood a mile away.
Yep. Sharks, vultures.
Yep.
Any other animal that circles and kills or picks.
But Blake, has he been on The Bachelorette 2 times, or was he just on Claire turned into Tayshia's season?
She said he was there twice.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he was on Claire's season, but Claire left. He wasn't brought back.
But I also think if you're talking about like, oh, you're not here for the right reasons, he was there, let's say, for a moment. Mm-hmm. Let's pretend that Blake got on the first season of The Bachelorette, which was Claire, right? His first season on The Bachelorette. Let's say he shows up to Claire's season because he knows Claire is going to be on the season, and he's like, I've got to win this woman's heart. Mm-hmm. She's the love of my life. She just doesn't know it yet. Then she goes home, right? The whole thing with Claire's season was she found the guy she loved. She shut the whole show down and went home. Then they brought in Tayshia as like a backup. Mm-hmm. Now Blake stays. Do we think Blake is on the show?
Yeah, but
do we think any of those guys,
right,
when you talk about being there for the right reasons, do we actually believe that any of them, and Blake in this is the only example that we have to go from now, were there or are there for the right reasons? And my answer is no.
Well, she married Zach, or got engaged to Zach, so.
Who's Zach?
He was on the season.
No, who are we talking about?
Tayshia married one of those guys.
Oh, okay, got it. Got it.
Engaged to one of those guys.
Let's see. He did come on gung-ho for Claire.
He was the one who DM'd Claire before the season, too. That's right. I remember that coming out. I do remember that.
What's his name, Brad? No. What's this idiot's name? Blake?
Yes.
Blake is a vulture. I think we're going to make a collective decision here as a team. I don't know how many people are in this chat right now, but I think we're going to make a collective decision that we all think that Blake is a vulture.
I need to talk to my friend about her feelings first.
Okay, no,
in 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
He might turn out to be a great guy. Because the way a relationship starts is not necessarily the way a relationship ends.
Correct.
I think in the moment, Blake's spirit animal is a vulture.
Yeah.
That's it. Scotty, it is okay if you're late and you can't stay long. That is okay. Blake the fake. I like it, Fred the mailman.
Blake or Flake works too.
What else?
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of people vulture. And I'm not saying, let me be clear, I'm also not saying he's a bad person. I think he's just a very typical guy in vulture mode, which is what guys often do.
Yeah.
Even good guys have done it at some point.
Have you done it?
Probably.
No. You don't get to Thomas this situation in the vulnerability circle and say, Yeah, maybe once
I'm
I
trying
did
to
something
think
bad.
if I like specifically swooped in when a girl broke up, like quickly.
The
Well,
only
what do
reason I wouldn't think you would is because you'd be so scared that she'd become a stage 5 clinger.
No, I was never scared of that. Not in my early years, at least. Was I ever a vulture? I was definitely. I was one of those guys that was around, but I never like swooped in right away.
you
Like,
were
oh
like
my
a
God,
crow.
if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you. Like, I was never that guy. What?
I mean, you did that to me.
Yeah, but we were actually friends, and then nothing happened for a very long time.
That's fair.
So that didn't really matter. Let's see. I'm not a fan of showing up mid-season. Okay, I do agree with that. Jenny? Ooh, what does a vulture grow into when it is no longer hunting? Is he a vulture or just have vulture tendencies? I think all men have the ability to be a vulture at some point in their life. Now, that might, if it works out with Blake the Fake and Katie, if it works out, then it worked. And the vulture mode got him into a great relationship. Being a vulture is just a way to start a relationship or get some action, I guess. Let's see. I don't watch the show at all, but I agree with Tones about the vulture culture. Thank you, Mark.
Vulture culture.
And yes, women can be vultures as well. I just don't think it's as pronounced. I don't think it, like I said before, I don't think it's as egregious.
Well, because here's the thing, women aren't actually vultures. We just happen to be there. The guy's still like the vulture in the situation.
Yeah.
Like women are snakes. No, what is an animal that just happens to be there?
You're like a Venus flytrap.
Basically.
You just wait there, open, and when someone lands in there, you trap them. Okay. DJ Faze, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate you very much.
He said 9 months. We could have had a baby by now.
We could. Hey, Faze, you've got two. If you want another one, let's do this.
Neon Climber. Yeah, we're praying mantis.
No, but doesn't the whole thing with the praying mantis, they like have sex with their mate and then rip their head off? Yeah, that's different. I think a Venus flytrap is probably the best metaphor in this situation. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, in about 15 minutes, we're going to actually have to turn the stream off because Carla Marie is going to use this area. Mm-hmm. And
we got to move things around.
We do?
Well, I need to be front and center.
Okay.
And I need the computer.
We'll adjust some things. Carla Marie is going to be hosting a live podcast stream with Vistaprint. And who's your guest today?
The owners of Happy Box. It's Ariel and Hannah Redmond. They are sisters. They've been on Side Hustlers in the past, but today we're going to focus on building your like visual identity as a brand, which I know nothing about. So I'm excited to learn a lot about that. Mean? It's kind of like when your logo, your colors, what is it like when I go to your when someone goes to your website, okay, what do they see and how does that your brand? Like, should you be changing things like that? What, basically, like, we have a brand, right? When people physically see the stuff that we put out.
Oh, does it trigger them to think like Carla Marie Anthony?
Yes.
Makes sense. I love this from Vicky in the chat. It said, I Googled Blake, and the picture for Cosmo's article is some outdoorsy picture of him with a bird showing its back that looks like a vulture. Do you know why, Carla Marie? Do you know why? Because Blake is a vulture. Stop. He might be a nice guy. I might meet him one day. Maybe I'm going to be at their wedding. At this point, I probably won't be invited. But if, and by the way, we have no idea. Yeah, that's probably a hawk, but looks a little vulture-y. And I just want to reiterate that Carla Marie and I have done a very good job of not asking Katie who she's with and not wanting to find out. So we literally have no idea who she ends up with. So I will say that. So if I make a joke about being at the wedding, I'm just making that up.
Hold on. Let me get the link for today's stream.
That would be a great best man speech for Blake's wedding. I thought you were a vulture, and now you're here. Turns out you were her lobster. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
The Friends thing? Isn't like lobster is a thing? What are you doing over there?
I'm going to send you the link to my stream. How do I get it to you?
You can.
Oh, I'll just go in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Jersey Girl says, I think it's Blake. Do you think it's Blake that she ends up with? Because right now, I don't think we've seen enough of Katie actually interacting with the guys other than the dad from Ohio.
Michael A.
Michael A. I don't think I've seen enough to really think she has a real connection. And granted, we're only seeing snippets of the time she actually spent there. So, hey, lower me. Lower me over there.
Well, yeah, I don't like this shot.
I love this shot, actually. Why don't you like it?
The lighting's weird.
I actually really like it. How much longer are you guys in Denver? We are leaving today. We have a flight around 4 o'clock.
I saw, was it Tiff who's excited about Greg from New Jersey? I'll be honest with you. He's rubbing me the wrong way more and more every episode.
He hasn't even done anything.
He just says things that I'm like, are you reading a script? Like, he's like got these one weird lines. Oh my God. After he hasn't
said anything.
He had to do the whisper sweet nothings in Katie's ear.
I walked to Chick-fil-A when that was happening.
It was so bad. So bad. And the whole internet was like, oh man, that just ruined everything. It was like everyone loved him and then like had sex with him for the first time and it was awful. Okay. Like that's what that was.
Okay. A lot of the guys are forgettable, unfortunately. I also think we're not getting a lot of the stories. So basically what I've learned in the now third season, this is only the third full season of this franchise that I'm watching. But what I've learned is if they're heavy in the first couple episodes, they're going to be gone. Mm-hmm. And the people you see the least from end up staying the longest. Because, and this is smart on the producer's side, they want to tell the stories while the person's there. And they also don't want to burn out any of the contestants before the end of the season.
And they want you to be excited about someone and then have that devastating moment when they get sent home because they want you to ride the roller coaster of emotions.
So I think whoever she ends up with, I don't think we've really seen a lot of them yet. Mm-hmm. I do hope, because I want to be friends with him, and if my friend marries him, then I can be friends with him. I do hope Trey,
I love Trey,
ends up being the guy.
Someone said
he just seems like such a nice man.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think we could bring up, yes, it's from The Bachelor, but I think this is kind of in the general world, we've all dealt with something like this, is do you tell someone news they don't want to hear?
Like?
Because yesterday in the episode, the drama between Trey and Andrew, one of the Andrews, football playing Andrew
S.
was Andrew's point of view was she's gone through enough. She basically went through this whole he's not here for the right reasons drama last week. Why are we putting her through this emotional bullshit again? And Trey and a lot of the other guys were like, no, I mean, she's asked us to be honest.
Right.
And unfortunately, you have to say things that sometimes upset people when you're being honest with them.
Yeah.
Honesty isn't always butterflies and rainbows.
Part of me agreed with Andrew S. in that we don't need to do this again. Like we just did this last rose ceremony with Carl. Like we don't need to keep ruining every night for her.
It doesn't seem like she's had any fun
rose ceremonies.
At rose ceremonies. And I guess they're not fun events because you are sending someone home. And at this point, you probably do at least like some of the people you're sending home.
Wait, I put the Vistaprint link in there.
Did you put a porn link by accident?
But I think that ultimately what they did is what Katie wanted. She even said it. She's like, you need to tell me these things.
What else do we have in here? Someone just put the Vistaprint ODF variant. Put the Vistaprint in there.
Appreciate you.
The Vistaprint link. I just sounded like an old person. The Vistaprint. They put the Vistaprint in there. You can watch it on the Facebook. So
you can.
So I understand what you're saying, and I too, Carla Marie, understood Andrew S.'s point of view. Like, this woman has been through a lot emotionally. Maybe give her like a day off.
Yeah.
Just a day to be like, let me breathe and enjoy a full day.
But I guess they were so panicked because if Thomas would have stayed, that would have kept someone else's space.
Well, I think if Thomas stays, he has more of a chance to be manipulative.
Take up their time.
God, I can't say that word. Take up their time and lie even more to Katie. Mm-hmm. So it's tough, and I have not always been the best person at telling people tough truths that they might need to hear.
Really?
No, not really. Like professionally and personally, I've not. It's because it sucks when you know the thing you're going to say, although it is honest and it could help someone in the long term, when you know that their immediate reaction is going to be upset or sad or let down, it's tough. Yeah. So I give Trey a lot of credit. I mean, obviously he has something to gain from that too. So
Well, he says, and how did no one, or they didn't air this, he says, like, I knew I wanted to tell her, and if I get the impression rose tonight, that would make me very happy. Meaning, like, I told her this because I want to be the knight in shining armor. And I was like, wait a minute. Did anyone else catch that?
Yeah, and he did. And sometimes when you do a nice thing, it's okay to be recognized for it. And there is a question from Sunali that said, I don't watch The Bachelor regularly. Do the hosts usually join in the dates? I thought it was weird that Caitlyn and Tayshia were on the group date. Sometimes.
Yeah. The group, he's generally, Chris Harrison would have been there most times.
Because I know, like, when
he wouldn't have been, like, giggling and listening to the whisper sweet nothings in my ear thing, but he's normally on all the dates and, like, sitting there.
Well, he's normally, if there's, like, a competition,
yeah,
he's there, and they do, like, a fake, almost sports announcer booth.
Yeah.
And he's there. Usually there's another guest as well.
Or sometimes,
so I think having
like,
2 extra people on a date is not that uncommon.
And in the past few seasons, I feel like he's not been there for some of them because he just couldn't be there. So they'll have, like, either a Bachelor alum come in, or, like, the one episode they did, was he even a part of the episode where on Katie's season, when they all wore the bridesmaid dresses, they had, like, the guy,
there, yeah.
the Bachelor photographer, run that date. I don't think he was.
Who is this? Miss Teehee 123 said, Reality Steve says it's Blake, but he's been wrong a few times. So Reality Steve, from what I've understood from the people that we know who have been on The Bachelor, he's one of those people who makes so many predictions that some of them are always going to be right. Like, some of them are undoubtedly going to be right. If you predict 35 different things,
how has that guy not
season,
been canceled? I don't know. When it was actually when Katie was away filming, all of this stuff started coming out. All of previous female Bachelor, Bachelorette alums were coming out saying all the creepy things he would say to them and send to them, and almost, like, start holding
creepy, like,
hey,
like he was trying to hook up with them?
I just had a dream about you, and I woke up basically saying that his dick was hard.
Oh, that's weird. No one ever wants to hear that.
No.
Like, I don't even think people who are romantically involved want to hear that. Let's see. What's the RHAP? Cover The Bachelor, and they have good coverage? I don't know who RHAP is. Real Housewives after
Pardon.
Photoshop? I don't know. Those are the only things I could think of. Let's see. What else is that? If I'm being honest, the show doesn't really need a host.
I agree.
What they're doing this year makes the show move along better.
Yes.
I think Tayshia might end up being the full-time host. She's doing, I think, an incredible job. I don't think Caitlyn is doing that well. And maybe there's something about what?
Tayshia, you can tell, is reading a script or something every time.
I think Tayshia sounds more natural.
I think Caitlyn sounds more natural.
Interesting.
Rob Has a Podcast is the name of the podcast. Oh. I'm like, why does everyone just keep saying Rob has a podcast? I don't know who Rob is.
Yeah, I didn't even know who Rob was.
Okay.
Let's see. Is a Bachelor fan take on YouTube. Okay, it's good to know. Maybe I'll check that out. Let's see. The difference between nice guys and kind guys is that nice guys can't tell the hard truth. That's why they finish last. Being kind is better.
Fred.
Interesting. It's a good point, Fred. I'm trying to be better with that. I'm trying to be like, hey, sometimes the truth hurts. And sometimes you got to say it. Now, there's a way to say it. Because there are people who are like, well, it's the truth. Can't get mad at me. It's like, yeah, but you said it like an asshole. So there's that as well. Love the shirt. Which shirt are we referring to?
Love her shirt. I'm wearing a dress.
What is on that? Oh, those are flowers. Mm-hmm. Did you wear a dress because you're doing
yes,
your Vistaprint thing? Got all dressed up?
Yep.
All right. And for people who don't know what you're doing, no, it's not a Roosevelt shirt. That's a dress.
They should make dresses.
So explain to people who weren't here early on what you're doing in a little bit with Vistaprint before we get out of here.
I'm hosting a mini series for them called Long Story Short. And every episode is with different business owners, and we focus on one specific thing to help small business owners. So last week, we talked about just branding overall, your brand personality with Adriana from Little Words Project. Sorry, 2 weeks ago. This week, I'm talking to the founders of Happy Box. It's a gifting box service, which is one of the best gifts you can give to anyone. It's super simple to shop, and they are sisters, and the story of how they started is amazing. We're going to get to that in the beginning, but it's all about your visual identity and how to create the visual identity of your brand. So we're going to get to that today. It's less than 30 minutes, and if you can't be there live, it turns into a podcast that comes out next week. So yeah.
Cool. And that podcast from 2 weeks ago is up now.
Yep.
Some people were asking about my shirt, Carla Marie, and this is a one-off.
Yeah, it's not.
This is like a test shirt that they did. They have this print, which is called the. Damn it! There was a play on it, something red, white, and blue. It's Bob Ross being very American. He's the Statue of Liberty. He's flying a squirrel, whatever. This was a one-off test they did to make a T-shirt, but this print is available in like their regular button-down. And Claire from Olympia did put in the link, so you can watch Carla Marie on Facebook.
But I believe it should also go to Twitter and YouTube. So go to this landing page and should be able to find it.
They might make T-shirts down the road. This was kind of like their first dip their toe into the water to see kind of how it fits, what it feels like, all of that good stuff. But I have been wearing a lot of Roosevelt's gear while I've been here.
That's all you packed.
I've been wearing a whole lot of Roosevelt's gear, and I packed 7 too many shirts.
Same.
Does that make sense?
I don't think we knew we were going to do, and the weather, we were like...
There was a chance we were going to record a bunch of stuff, too, and film some things, so I brought changes of clothes, and I was just trying to bring the most loud, fun shirts that I had, and those are all Roosevelt shirts, which, by the way, they do not pay for this. And they don't have to. They're my friends, so they're a company that I kind of helped start, for the record.
Okay.
Just saying it. I mean, I did. I was on their first project ever.
Oh.
What?
On Thursday, we are going to pull up a screenshot from a friend who is... Okay, so Halal Guys is trying to hire people. So if you go to Halal Guys Seattle, you should be able to apply through there. They're trying to hire people right now, but the owner, Vince, who we know, has been sharing some of the responses of people as he's trying to hire them, and we're going to put some of them on the screen on Thursday.
They're classics. Yeah. There was... I am B to Lady A3.
Lamb.
Oh, is that Lamb? Whatever. When will you have an update on the Denver project /move? Any insight on the project? So there's no imminent move. We came here to discuss a couple different options with people, talk about different projects. There's a lot that we're looking at. Yep. And we've got to go back home. Sit down, look at some other options that we have, and weigh all of them and figure out what the best move is for both of us and everyone involved moving forward. Do they want to be a part of the company? I don't know.
Our company?
What that's in reference to, Andre.
No, we would still have our own company. We would. It would not be. I
am the worst at reading usernames, by the way. Mainly because L's and I's, I don't know if it's a capital I or an L, and that throws everything off.
It might be an I. I am B to Lady.
Yeah. B to Lady A. I be the Lady A, kind of. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Would you guys move to TV, music-related content, lifestyle /fitness?
Yeah.
Honestly, I know this doesn't narrow anything down, but if it gives you a little insight as to kind of what we're going through, everything is on the table. We've been talking about all those types of things. Music-related content, lifestyle-related content, fitness-related content. Yeah. Those are all projects that might happen internally with EMH Media. They might happen as partnerships with a different company. They might happen as partnerships with multiple different companies. It's all kind of up in the air. And I think that's one of the most interesting things about this phase professionally that we're going through is with radio, it was easy because generally speaking, you knew that radio was going to be the main thing. Yes. And everything else could go around it. But now when you have all these other options available, you've got to start weighing like the things with the highest ceilings versus the things that are most attainable versus...
And we can't we're getting to a point, believe it or not, where we are not burning ourselves out, but like we have a lot of things. Like we don't just go and hang out at the house all day. Like we have a very strict schedule now on things that we have to get done for the different projects that we're working on that you guys won't really know about because it's just like kind of like business work that we're doing as a production company, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just like we got a lot. We got like so much going on.
Oh, and the thought in the chat is it's Lambda Lady A.
That's what I said.
You did?
Yes.
Oh. I thought you said lamb.
Lambda Lady.
No, but Lambda, like, I'm thinking of like the Greek letter, lambda, like a frat or a sorority. I don't know. I could be way off. If you want to correct us, that's fantastic. We do have 2 new emotes. We're working on by the beginning of August. I know it sounds like it's a long time away, but it's really not.
No.
By the beginning of August, I think our Twitch channel is going to look cleaner and different. There's going to be different emotes. There's going to be a different overlay. You're going to see a lot of other things on the screen. We're hopefully figuring out a way so that while you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see the chat pop up as well on some part of this screen. So there's a lot we're going to work on. The emote of me, with the fro will stay there.
Yep.
And Lambda Lady A3 is how we are supposed to pronounce that username. Thank you. There we go.
Sorority Lambda Theta Alpha.
That's what I figured.
That's what I said.
What?
I said Lambda.
No, you said lamb, like a lamb. I was the one that said, well.
Okay, you
actually,
said I am Beta Lady.
Yeah, I butchered it. Yeah, and you can, I forgot. That's the one that moves. The emote that moves, my little fro head.
All right, I got to go adjust my makeup.
Well, listen,
I had to get
we're
my
going to be
roots
back.
done.
We didn't get to 500 people today, but if we get to 500 people on Thursday, then we'll figure out a food challenge that I can do on the stream. So make sure people know about it. Make sure you set your calendars. Set a little reminder to be here. What?
I'm not partaking.
I didn't say you.
I'm just saying.
I didn't say you at all.
I just wanted everyone to know.
All right. Carla Marie will be on with Vistaprint on Facebook in a little bit. Make sure you check that out. Peace out.